guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Tiana and I am currently documenting my fertility journey here on YouTube. I guess I'm technically switching things up because I am no longer documenting my fertility journey. That journey, we put a pin in that journey. We are done with that journey right now. If you haven't been around, I've gone through maybe 5 little rounds of IVF. They have not worked. I'm tired of the shots. I'm tired of the pills. No more hormones in my future. Now we are moving on to something else. So that is what this video is today. I have been promising my followers that I would give an update as to where we are in our foster to adoption journey. First, starting with this video, which is just what we learned in our information session. So if you are interested in that, please stick around and continue to watch. I am here in Texas, so if you're in that area and you're curious as to how that process all goes, just stick around and keep watching. Okay, so we had this information session way back in the end of October 2021. I have been meaning to share with you what I learned in this meeting since then, but life has just been freaking crazy. Things are starting to, I won't say slowing down because we are like in the thick of this foster adoption journey, licensing journey. But I do have time to sit down and talk to you guys. So I do want to give you an update on what we learned so that I can hurry up and update you and get you up to date on what's going on in our journey currently. First things first, we had our information session. I want to say it was like a Wednesday night. It was scheduled for 2.5 to 3 hours. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is just like your options here in Texas. So you can go through the Texas Department of Family Protective Services, so DFPS, or you can go through a private agency. In our case, we are choosing to go through the state of Texas and not do a private agency simply because of the costs. So as I said, we did so many rounds of IVF that like, I don't want to spend any more money on this journey. I'm still spending money, but not as much money. Going through the state is a lot cheaper. I hear it's a much bigger headache. You don't have as much support as you do with an agency. So if you have the means to go through a private agency, it probably is better. But in our case, we are going through the state of Texas to get licensed. What we learned during our first information session was that there are 3 types of licenses through the state of Texas. You can get your foster only license, your adoption only license, and then your foster, they call it foster to adopt license here in Texas. In our case, we are going to do the foster to adopt license. And if you need a little more explanation, the foster license is just foster only. So you'll have temporary placements, kids will come and go. And that's it. You won't have that opportunity to adopt them because you won't have your adoption license. Adoption only is your placements that you'll get matched with, and they should be there. You'll be there, basically their forever home once the court declares that. So everything's always kind of up in the air, but if you're adoption only license, a child will come into your care with the plan of adoption, and that'll kind of be kind of their plan. Foster to adopt, you will get temporary placements that could turn into permanent placements, or you can get permanent placements like kind of right off the bat because you have that dual license. In our case, we're doing this license because I heard that if you are fostering a child and you have a foster only license and that child becomes adoptable, you would not be able to adopt that child because you don't have your adoption license. That child would then be able to like go to someone who already has their license. Whereas if you had it, then it wouldn't be an issue. I don't know how true that is. That's just something I heard from someone on YouTube, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't in that position, that we do the extra hours or whatever we need to do to have the dual license in case a child in our care becomes adoptable. We want to just be able to roll that out. Another reason why we wanted to do, and I keep looking down because I have my notes in my lap. Another reason why we wanted to do the dual license is because we want a small child. I know that in Texas, there are so many older kids that are like sleeping in hotels and CPS offices. And they stress that a lot in this information meeting, just that there's an abundance of older kids and not enough foster homes. But I can tell you right now that I'm not old enough for an older kid. Like, we I don't think I have the temperament, and I'm not trying to lose my license. So I know that for us in our situation, that wouldn't work for us right now. Maybe as we get older, that would be something that we would be more open to. But right now, we do want to stay with smaller children. For our application purposes and licensing purposes, we are trying to get our 0 to 2 year old license. With a preference of like 0 to 6 months. Like, we're trying to go really small, guys. But who knows? We could be waiting forever because we have such a narrow range, which I'm fine with that. At this point, we've been waiting forever. What's a little longer? Like, if it's meant to be, it will be. We're just going to put what we're looking for. And if there's a child in need within that criteria, then we will 100% be open to, bringing him or her in. But yes, so if we have the foster to adopt license, you're more likely to get placed with small children. The reason being is a child, at least here in Texas, I know it varies different states, but we were told in our information session that in Texas, a child has to be in the system for a full year before they become adoptable. So if the parent doesn't, do all the different things that they're supposed to do within a year, then the kid can become adoptable, or the plan will change to adoption. And then the child also has to be in your home for at least 6 months or something like that before you can be considered eligible to adopt them. If we were an adoption only license, usually if a child comes into the system and they're with a foster parent, by the time that year mark goes and they become adoptable, they usually are adopted by their foster parent. So that's why we wanted to do the foster to adopt versus just going straight into the adoption license. In Texas, you have to be 21 years of age. You do not have to be married. I think I follow like a bunch of people now on YouTube that are like single foster to adoptive parents. You just have to be 21. In Texas, you have to be a Texas resident. You can't have any life changes within the last year. So if you've recently got married or recently had a baby, had a miscarriage, like you've recently moved, got a new job, anything big within the last year and you're trying to apply like a new application, they make you wait a full year before you submit those applications. So once your application process has gone through, you can have some changes. I did ask about that. I know my husband was looking for a different job and we're already kind of in the middle of the process, and they told us it's fine as long as it wasn't like when we were very first starting him switching jobs. So if he switched jobs now, they said it's fine. You can't have any relatives in the CPS that work for CPS, I think, or are like a CASA worker. And at the moment, I do not remember what CASA stands for, so I will put that on the screen. You have to complete all of your applications, do background checks. It's 29 hours of Pride classes. I want to say that's for the foster only license or the adoption only license. But for us, since we're doing the dual license, I want to say ours is like 35 to 40 hours. And we're actually starting those pretty soon here. You do need to have a 2-bedroom home. And again, that's going to depend on the size of or age of the child that you're taking in. If you have a child placed with you, and I want to say they're under the age of 2, they can share space with you. Over the age of 2, they need to have their own room. You have to complete a home inspection, and you have to have a positive home study. So we still have a couple of things to do on this list. Again, we haven't started our classes yet. We've had a fire inspection. We have not had any home studies. So all of that should be coming up here shortly, and I will be sure to get you guys all up to date with everything that's going on there. Some more fun stuff that we learned. I didn't realize that, I guess I did. I just hadn't really thought about it because that's not what we're doing this for. But foster kids come with financial assistance. And in certain cases, after you adopt kids, they also will continue to have some kind of financial assistance. The worker that was on the information meeting, she let us know that all of foster care children have medical insurance. I think it's I don't know if it's Medicaid or Medicare. I always get those mixed up, but they all have medical insurance. You get like a monthly check. It's like equivalent to about $27 a day. That doesn't really kick in until like 2 months after you get the kid. It's like a little bit delayed. Infants come with WIC, so you can get like free formula. I think the state also has like reimbursements for childcare. So there are a couple different things. I want to say, like, for adoption, if you adopt a child that's in a minority group that's over the age of 2, then you can continue to get some kind of monthly subsidy, and they may still qualify for the college tuition and maybe even the health insurance if they're over the age of 2. Finally, I think the only last point that they made was you can only have a total of, I want to say they said 6 kids in your home, including your biological kids. Anything over that is a no-go. You can't have more than 6 in Texas, which is a lot. Like, but some people out there want damn farms of kids. I'm good. I'm good with the one, you know? I will film a whole separate video on all the things that we have gotten done and how much things cost. I'll maybe even do a video so that I can do a room tour of the room next to us is going to be the nursery. We've been buying things and getting things. I haven't set anything up yet, but I have been buying a lot of stuff. So once I get everything set up, we'll definitely do like probably a room tour or a dirt cheap haul, because your girl has been finding the best deals at Dirt Cheap. Like, God is just like dropping gems in front of me as I go to Dirt Cheap every weekend. Like, you wanted this? Boom, there it is. So it has been really fun and really cool to experience that. So let me know if you guys have any questions at all. And don't come for me for this whole foster to adopt license. Like, it's a license through the state. I've never heard of the more drama, anytime you get in any kind of group, whether it's an infertility group or a mom's group, there's always something. And there's like a whole bunch of Karens in the foster to adopt world saying you shouldn't go into foster care to adopt. And like, it's a thing. It's a whole ass license, right? So sit down somewhere. Don't come for me. You guys have a fantastic evening. And yeah, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.